Okay, everyone, we will start the third session, our third class. Welcome back, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are having a good time and you guys are in good health, and we can continue our third material for today. We will talk about the homework first, the position paper from each and every one of you, and then we will have a mini simulation of how MUN goes in real settings. Okay, I will present some of the material first. Okay, so this is the simulation, the mini simulation of how MUN goes. I will talk about this in perhaps 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will proceed with your position paper, and then we will have a mini simulation. Don't worry, it is just going to be a mini simulation, so you don't have to be preparing as if you were participating in a real MUN. Okay, so it's going to be simple, and we will start with the general rules of a UN Council. So in the next Global Millennial Model UN, you will be seeing a lot of this spreadsheet screen share, in which that the chair will share screen a spreadsheet file consisting of these information. If you can see at the top, you will see that there are rules, there are roll call, there are agenda setting, there's GSL, there also will be formal debate outlines, and there will also be voting sections. Okay, so remember that this is going to be different in each session, and I hope you guys can learn in each and every of the section. Okay, we will start with rules first. You can see here, I will zoom in a little bit. You can see that there's this conference session. So we learned in our first class that there will be delegates who are present, and there will also be delegates who are present and also voting. If you can see in the present part and also in the present voting part here in the screen, you can see that we will look for delegates who can be present and also can be present voting, because this will affect the whole session of the MUN conference, and especially during the voting session, because this is to determine which delegates is present and which delegate is present and voting. So for example, there are five. For example, there are five delegates who are present and voting, and there is, for example, seven delegates who are present and voting. So there are 10 delegates. You can see here that the majority vote will be 50% plus one, and this will be counted based on the total delegates who are in the session of the MUN. Because sometimes in the first session, there can be 10 delegates, but in the second session, there can only be, for example, 9 delegates, because one delegate is, for example, going to the toilet, or for example, cannot come to the session at the moment due to certain reasons. There will be a calculation of the majority vote based on the exact number of delegates who are present in the current session. So, for example, the present delegates, there are 15 delegates who are present, and there are 10 or 11, perhaps 11 delegates present and voting. So there will be all 26 delegates, okay, in the conference room. The majority vote will be 14, okay. The quorum will be 7, okay. The quorum will be 7. The draft resolution signatories will be 1/8 of the whole total delegates, which will be 3. The sponsor, it can be 5, and the amendment sponsor will be 1/10 of the whole delegates, which is going to be 2/6 or perhaps 3. We will make it into 3 because we cannot have 2.6 people. Okay, so this is the general calculation of how MUN will go. Okay, so when will you use majority vote and when will you use the quorum vote? So this is to determine whether or not this is actually the way resolutions pass. For example, in the quorum vote, okay, I believe there's some miscalculation here, or perhaps I'm the one not calculating good enough. So 2 times 26 will be 52 divided by 3 will be 17. Okay, this should be 17, guys. So sorry. Okay, so this is the quorum vote. The quorum vote is always more than the majority. Okay, why would that be the reason? The reason of that would be the fact that if you want to pass a resolution, you have to at least gather a quorum number of votes from the delegates who are present or present and voting. Okay, remember that in a voting session, we will look for a quorum when it comes to passing a resolution. Okay, so for example, in a draft resolution, there are three draft resolutions, for example, from three different blocks, and this whole conference session consisting of, for example, 50 delegates. Let's say there are 30 delegates present and 20 delegates present and voting. Okay, so there are a total of 50 delegates. I will change the formulation first for this one. So the quorum vote will be 50. Yeah. Okay, 50 times by 2. Okay. Okay, okay, what happened? Okay, sorry. Oh, okay, wait, it's not 100. Okay, so we will use offline calculator, not in the Excel. Okay, so 50 times 2 divided by 3. Okay, there will be 33 delegates who need to pass a resolution. Okay, so this is a situation where it actually gets pretty hard for a block to gather this vote. For example, there are 3 blocks. Okay, let's make a small calculation based on this one. Okay, for example, block A, and then we have block B, and then we have block C. Okay, so in total there are 50 delegates, and there will be 30 present and 20 present voting. Remember that present and voting and present, the difference is not whether someone can vote or not. Okay, remember that even if you are only present and not voting, you can still vote, but you can also be abstained if you are present. But if you are present and voting, you have to say yes. You have to say either yes or no, and you cannot be abstained. Okay? Abstain means saying that you are not saying yes and you're not saying no. Basically, you're not endorsing or you're not in opposition towards a certain resolution. In which, in other words, your vote can be discounted, and you can be in a position where you choose not to vote. Okay, so the difference is that if you are present only, it does not mean you cannot vote. It means that you can vote, but at the same time you can choose to be abstain. Okay, I hope you guys understand that. If you do not understand that, please unmute your mic, because I cannot see whether you're trying to ask a question in a share screen mode. So if you want to ask anything, just unmute your mic directly, immediately, and cut me during my speaking time. It's okay, and I will answer your question. Okay. Okay, back to the block. So there will be block A, block B, and block C. For example, block A manages to reach, for example, 25 people, 25 delegates. Block B manages to reach 15 delegates, while block C can only reach 10 delegates. So in total, there will be 50 delegates. Okay. So if you see here, you can see that the majority vote will be 26. Okay. For example, there's a motion, a moderated caucus. There's a motion Z, for example. Motion Z gets, for example, 30 votes. And motion X gets 25, for example. Okay. So remember that in a motion, in a moderated caucus, the vote that we will use is the majority one. Okay, remember that MC, moderated caucus, uses majority. So we will search for those who for the motion that passes more than 50% plus one. Okay, can anyone give me the answer towards which motion will pass if we use majority vote? Well, if we use majority vote in any moderated caucus. Can anyone share the answer towards the Zoom chat probably? Which motion would pass if we use majority vote? Okay, thank you, Cindy. Yes, the answer will definitely be motion Z. Okay, motion Z, sorry. Motion Z. Why? Because 30 is more than 50% plus 1. What is the 50% of 50? The answer would be 25. Okay, 25 plus 1 is 26. This is the minimum number. You can either be 26 or above 26 to pass a motion. But remember that this is a motion, okay? A motion is not a resolution. A motion is something that you arrange in order for you to debate on something. For example, the delegate of New Zealand would like to propose a moderated caucus about, for example, the root causes of the problem with 20 minutes total speaking time and 1 minute time of speaking time each for each delegate. And you can see that this is a motion to talk about the root cause of the problem and not the resolution of the whole session of the model UN. Okay, remember that resolution consists of all the reasons, of all the opinions, of all the draft inputs that every delegate has during the whole debating session. Debating session includes moderated caucus as well as unmoderated caucus, and also perhaps the general speakers list. Okay, so you do all of these sessions in order for you to get a resolution, because a resolution is a written form of your delegates, of the delegates opinions, and it will be in a form of something that is consisting of preambulatory clauses and also operative clauses. But we will not talk about that today. We will talk about that in the fourth session, which happens also to be the final session, the final class with you guys. So I hope it will be super exciting in the last session, because we will talk about draft resolution, which is the key, the final stage of an MUN. An MUN will finish if you have, or if you have not passed a resolution as well. As long as you are reaching a resolution voting session, it means that you are almost finishing your MUN experience. Okay, it doesn't matter if it passes or not. As long as you have reached the resolution voting process, it means that you are almost there. You almost finished your MUN experience. Okay, so that's for the majority vote. So for quorum vote, okay, again, it's a two-third vote of the total delegates who are there. Okay, not only that those who are present, but also those who are present and voting. So everyone that is in the session at the time, it will be the calculation will be based on that number. For example, we will vote for DR for 3 draft resolution, for example. So DR, remember we use quorum. There are DR1, there are DR2, wait, DR2 and also DR3. DR1, okay, so DR1, this is a time where you can vote for a certain draft resolution, or you want to choose a draft resolution based on your calling, because you will be allocated in a certain block, that's for sure. But during the voting process, it is you who decide which resolution will pass. It is only yourself. Your vote matters only to you, and it can only be changed by you. So even if you are, for example, you are block A, but during the voting process, you think that block A has not done good enough with the resolution, and you think that block B's draft resolution is better, it means that you can choose for block B. Okay, so some people would say that you're a traitor, or perhaps that you're a sellout. But in an MUN, it is your freedom to choose which draft resolution is the best. But remember, it is very rare if you are a sponsor of a DR, of a draft resolution, but then you choose others' draft resolution. It is possible, but it's super rare. I would I would encourage you not to do that, because it will be very, very funny because you're the one sponsoring it, but you're not even voting for it at the end. Okay, so it will be possible, but I encourage you not to do that. Okay, back to the topic. We're talking about the R1, the R2, the R3. There are 3 blocks and there are 3 DRs. Remember that, if I'm not mistaken, please research more on this. You can vote for 2 or for more than 1 draft resolutions. It is possible for you to vote for the R1, but at the same time, it is possible for you to vote for the R2 as well. However, please remember that a voting on a draft resolution is done based on the order of the draft resolution. So, for example, the queue, the list of draft resolution is the R1, 2, 3. But at the voting process, you can have a motion, you can propose a motion to reorder the draft resolution. So for example, I'm gonna make it like this. Okay, so DR1, DR, DR2, DR3. Okay, so this is the list, right? For example, the number 1, the first order is the R1 to 3, but then you propose a motion in which that you want the R3 to be voted first. And then the R1 will be on the second list. The R2 will be on the last. It is possible only if your motion passes. Remember, motion means the system will use majority vote. Okay? For motions, you use majority vote. If it passes 50% plus 1, then your motion passes, and then your the DR of your preference can be allocated into the order in which you want to happen. Okay, so if, for example, the R3, the voting process starts, and then the quorum vote is 33 for the total of 50 delegates who are in the session, and then there are 34, for example, 34 delegates who vote yes for the R3. And for example, 15 delegates say no for the R3, and then 1 delegate chooses to abstain. In this case, the R3 will pass because why? Because the R3 passes the quorum vote. 34 is more than 33, which means that the R3 passes. Remember, the R3 passes. What does that mean? It means that the R1 and the R3 will not be voted again. Well, will not be voted, okay? Because the R3 already passes. That is why the motion of reorder sometimes decides whether your DR can be chosen, for example, in the first place. What does this mean? It means that there's a strategy for you to pass a draft resolution, because if you see at the screen, if you see on the screen, you can see that the R3 is made, for example, by block C, but block C only have 10 delegates inside the block. So how does block C manage to push the R3 into 34 delegates saying yes to the draft resolution? The answer, I don't know the answer. The only people who know the answers is definitely the one inside block C. What I'm trying to say is that you have to be like block C. Okay, you have to represent your signatories like block C, because it manages to attract people from outside of their block to choose and vote for the draft resolution, that the DR3. It is a capacity, it is a competency, it is a skill for you to have this kind of ability to attract and persuade people, lobby people, even though they're from outside of your block, to choose and vote your draft resolution. Do you have to do this? Yes, if your condition is like block C. Block C only have 10 delegates inside. They definitely have to lobby and also persuade people to choose and vote for their draft resolution. The case will then happen, for example, block B merges with block A and they have 40 delegates, For example, they have 40 delegates. Block A and B merges and all delegates from block B choose to join block A. Block A has 40 signatories. But remember, this is only the number of delegates who choose to be with Block A. It does not mean that all of these 40 delegates will still be in Block A side, in the voting process, because in the voting process, it can happen in which it reverses. For example, Block A in the voting process, only 10 delegates vote for Block A's draft resolution and 40 delegates vote yes for Block C draft resolution. Can it happen? It definitely can happen. So the number of delegates that you have in a certain block does not ensure your success in passing a draft resolution. Okay, so that's the key takeaway in before you participate in before participating in any MUN. You have to know that not always that you have the bigger block, meaning that you will succeed. It does not always be like that. It is usually like that, but it does not always be have to be like that. Okay, so that's for draft resolution. DR signatories and sponsors, what are the differences? Signatories means that you only sign the draft resolution, but you do not sponsor the draft resolution. What is sponsor? What does sponsor mean? Sponsor means that you're the one who are in charge. You're the one who's in charge for the whole DR drafting process. You're the leader. You're the one who scrambles and also arranges the clauses. We will talk about this in the next session, but it basically means that you are leading the draft resolution drafting process. Okay. Amendment sponsor, it's not always happening, but in certain MUN, there will be sessions where you can amend your draft resolution before a voting process. So you have to have amendment sponsor. So amendment sponsors, it says that there are 5, right? However, in the DR sponsor, it says that there should be at least minimum 10 people. However, in certain situation, even if there are, for example, 200 delegates, it says here that the DR sponsor is 40, right? But in the real situation, it will be super rare for us to see 40 DR sponsors. Sometimes it can only be 2 or 3 sponsors. This is the usual setting. But if the delegates are, for example, there are 400, 500, or 300, there are certain MUNs that have this kind of number of delegates participating. They can expand the number into 5 or 6, but the super frequent number for the sponsor is either 2 or 3. Okay, well, this is based on my experience. I don't know what the trends are for today, but this is the usual frequent number of the sponsor. Okay, so this is the general rules of UNGA, well, of UN MUN session, and not only UNGA. I hope you guys understand this. We still have 30 minutes. I will use the remaining times to explain some things about the other parts. Okay, so moderated caucus, you guys already know about it, and also the template for you to say before you propose a motion. Unmoderated caucus maximum usually is 20 minutes, but you can propose a motion to extend it to 30 minutes, and under the chair's discretion, it is possible for unmoderated caucuses to be happening in more than 20 minutes. Okay, so this is roll call. For example, you are Russia. The chair will call you, delegate of Russia. The chair calls your name, calls your country's name, and then as Russia, you have to answer the roll call. Either you're present or present voting. If you are present and voting, you can say, "Thank you, Madam Chair," or "Thank you, Mr. Chair. The delegate of Russia is present and voting." If you choose to be only present, then you say, "Thank you, Madam Chair," or "Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate of Russia is present." Just say it like that. Okay, super simple, because the chair will call a list of number of countries, and you have to be as precise as possible. Okay, Japan, India, and all that, this will be based on the number of the countries participating, and this will determine in the voting process whether you can abstain or not. Okay, that's for roll call. For agenda setting, this will be the time where you want to choose either topic. Okay, this is only happening if your MUN councils have more than one topics to debate. Okay, remember, if there are more than one topics to debate, then you have to have an agenda setting voting process. For example, country India, for example, India, Russia, and then USA. So these 3 countries, they want to talk about topic area, for example, I'm gonna just add some rows here. Okay, okay, it's not happening. Okay, why? Okay, I'm just gonna write it here. For example, topic A is deforestation. Okay, so and topic B is about, for example, it's about terrorism. Terrorism. Okay, so for topic A, deforestation, the chair will have to have an agenda setting for topic A first. So we will talk about topic A first. Topic A, India, Russia, and USA chooses in favor of topic A, while Indonesia and, for example, UK and Brazil, they choose to be against topic A on deforestation. Okay, they're gonna talk about their opinions about the topic. Why would we have to choose topic A, and why would we not have to choose topic A? These three countries will debate in a specific amount of time, and the chair will let the delegates talk and speak on their behalf and their opinions about why we have to, or why we don't have to choose topic A. And then after that, after all six delegates have presented their opinions, there will be a voting process. Okay, a voting process to determine which topic that is going to be chosen. Okay, for example, topic A is chosen, then topic B will not be debated. Okay, this is only, again, this is only the situation requires the session, the council, to have an agenda setting session. Okay, only if there are more than one topics. I believe most MUNs in Indonesia have only one topic. It's rare to see two topics at the same time. But I have been in an MUN. It was in Singapore. There were two topics. I was in the legal council in the UN Sixth Committee Council. We have to debate on topic. The first topic was about the legal perspective, or the legal requirements, regulations on UN peacekeeping officers. The second topic talked about the international adoption. So there are two topics being debated, and agenda setting determines which topic will go first. Okay. But in Indonesia, since we do not actually have this kind of tradition of having more than one topic, sometimes some MUN in Indonesia, they still have more than one topics, but then the agenda setting will be done not to choose which topic will go first, but rather to choose which topic will be chosen. So there will be only one topic debated in the whole MUN conference. So this will determine whether which topic that you are trying to be in favor or against. It will be either debated in the agenda setting session. Okay, I hope you guys understand that. Super complicated, I know, but if you want to ask anything, just unmute your mic and we can have a discussion. Okay, so
So,
GSL, yeah, sure.
I have a question. So, when we decide to choose one topic, right? Is it depends on our urgency situation in the country, or we need to prepare multiple topic?
Okay, thank you, Octavina, for the question. Super good question. Okay, so regarding the agenda setting, you have to choose which topic to go. As a country, you have to choose which topic to be chosen based on your country's policy and also national interest. For example, in Indonesia, there's a lot of deforestation going on, right? There's a lot of deforestation going on. As Indonesia, it is perhaps best for you to not choose topic A and choose topic B instead. Okay. But it does not mean that Indonesia endorses deforestation, no. But in a political meeting like the United Nations, in which that you don't want your bad sides to be exposed internationally, it is best for you to choose topic B. However, sometimes in MUM, in a simulation, the chairs will not be looking into such an in-depth way of expressing your country's opinion. So for Indonesia in MUNs, it's okay for you to choose topic A, but remember to choose based on the most rational reasons. For example, Indonesia wants to choose topic A because Indonesia already has regulations on deforestation. So even though deforestations are happening everywhere in Indonesia, Indonesia as a country is categorized. Indonesia as a country is categorized as one of the countries with the most complete regulations to combat deforestation. Well, it's possible for you to choose topic A as an Indonesian country. Okay, so it will be based on your reasons and also opinion. So don't just choose topics randomly, but rather choose based on data, based on research, and the chair will look into that, and it will be a point plus for you as a participating delegate. Okay, Octavina, thank you for the question. I hope it answers. Anyone, if you guys have any question, just do what Octavina did. Just unmute your mic and then cut me during the process. It's okay. Okay, we will move on to GSL. Okay, sorry guys, we have 20 minutes. I'll explain this super fast, okay? Because I think the simulation can be done perhaps in the fourth session as well, but we'll make sure it happens today. Okay, so for example, country. My country is Indonesia, and then the next delegate is Malaysia, and then the next delegate is Russia, for example. Okay, so time, there's the time column here. There's min, there's sec, and there's yield. Remember, yield have three options. You can yield to the chair, you can yield to other delegates, you can yield for question and answer session. Okay, as a former delegate in MUN, it will be very much recommended for you to choose Q&A if you have remaining times. Okay, only if you have remaining times. If you're talking for 1 minute and you're only talking, if you are allocated for 1 minute speaking time, but you're only talking for 30 seconds and there is 30-second remaining time, as a former delegate in MUN, I encourage you to do a Q&A session because it will be a very, very plus point for you as a delegate. You can also choose other delegates for you to show teamwork. But remember, only choose yielding to other delegates if you think that you have performed well enough. Okay? Because this can be in a situation where other delegates actually outperform you as a delegate, even though that delegate is actually a co-sponsor in your block. But it depends on the situation. If the situation requires you to show teamwork, and then you can yield to other delegates. But if you think that your time is not good enough or your performance is not good enough, you can choose Q&A session, and then you will have a discussion with the delegates based on your preference or based on the chair's discretion. So for example, if you are opening a Q&A session and there are 5 delegates raising their hands, you can choose the delegates, but sometimes the chair requires you to not choose, and the chairs will let themselves choose which delegate will have a discussion with you. Okay, so that's for the Q&A session. For example, Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Russia. So this is the time where the chair will track your speaking time. Okay, for example, Indonesia speak for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, but Malaysia only speaks for 1 minute and 5 seconds. So there are 5 seconds, means that there are 25 seconds left. It's a lot of time. You can yield to other delegates. But Russia only talks for 30 seconds out of 1.5 minute, which means that Russia still has 1 minute left. Russia can also yield to a Q&A session. Okay, so this is for GSL. Remember, this yielding is only happening in GSL, General Speakers List. Okay, you cannot yield in a moderated caucus, because in moderated caucus, if you have 1 minute but you only speak for 30 seconds, then the remaining 30 seconds will be automatically yielded to the chair. Okay, meaning that nobody can use your remaining time, or you cannot have a Q&A session. Remember this. Okay, only in general speakers list. Okay, I'm making this underlined. Okay, general speakers list. Remember. Okay. Okay, the next one is formal debate. So this is the proposed. This is moderated caucus. Okay. For example, Indonesia again. We use Indonesia, USA, and Australia. The chair will always choose 3 delegates in a pool of a lot of delegates. Okay. For example, Indonesia proposes moderated caucus for 10 minutes speaking time, 10 minutes total time, 1 minute speaking time each about root causes. Okay. And then USA proposes an unmoderated caucus for 20 minutes to talk about, well, unmoderated caucus can talk about anything. So sometimes the chair will not ask you about which topic to talk about. So sometimes there will be no topic. Australia proposes a moderated caucus for 20 minutes total speaking time with 2 minutes speaking time each to talk about the stance of each country. Okay, so we will do a mini simulation here. Okay, so this is the simulation time. For Indonesia, if I'm Indonesia, I would say the delegate of Indonesia wants to propose a moderated caucus with a total time of 10 minutes, with 1 minute speaking time each to talk about root causes. Okay. Some of you who are beginners, you can repeat after me in your heart, or you can write this on your papers. So if you are Indonesia, say your country's name and then say your proposal. Okay. For example, like this: Indonesia, the delegate of Indonesia would like to propose a moderated caucus with a 10-minute total speaking time, with one speaking time each to talk about root causes. As simple as that. Okay. Okay. I will add one more country for us to practice. Okay, 15.1, talk about for example, the solution on deforestation. Okay, okay. We will go with USA first. Can anyone? Does anyone want to volunteer as USA, or do I have to choose? Anyone wants to be USA? You can unmute your mic and talk your template. Okay, so you can practice as an MUN delegate. Okay. Anyone wants to volunteer? Okay, I see a lot of names here. Okay, I will choose random. Yeah. Cindy, can you please be USA and then say the template for this one?
Okay. The delegates of USA would like to propose an unmoderated caucus for 20 minutes total time with 1 minute speaking time each, talking about um talking about administrators talking root causes.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's for you, unmoderated caucus, guys. So for unmoderated caucus, you just have to say the total speaking time, because in an unmoderated caucus, you can just go randomly with anyone. You can talk with anyone you want. So there will be no speaking time. So it's just zero. So it's just USA. Delegate of USA would like to propose an unmoderated caucus for 20 minutes, and that's it. Okay. But Cindy, sometimes there's a situation where you have to propose a topic. So you said you want to talk about root causes. It is possible, but in Indonesia, as far as I'm concerned, all chairs will definitely be in agreement to say that unmoderated caucus does not require any topic. Okay, but it's okay for you to ask the chair to confirm whether you guys have to have a topic in unmoderated caucus or not. Okay, okay. But thank you so much, Cindy. That's a really good it's a really good practice. We will go with Australia. Okay, Australia. Octavina, are you still there? You can do Australia just like what Cindy did.
Okay, but sir, can you please repeat? What should I say? Actually, I forgot.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. I will say as Indonesia, yeah. Indonesia, delegate of Indonesia would like to propose a moderated caucus with a total time of 10 minutes, with 1 minute speaking time each to talk about root causes. Okay. You can do Australia now.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, sure.
Good. delegate of Indonesia.
Yes. Octavina, we cannot hear your voice.
Right. Uh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, we now can hear you.
Yeah, I get a little bit problem, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Super fine. Okay. Thank you, Octavina, for the floor. So as Australia, okay, I will repeat it again. As delegate of Australia, you will have to say delegate of Australia would like to propose a moderated caucus with 20 total speaking time, 2 minutes speaking time each to talk about stand of each country. Okay, perhaps some of you might have trouble regarding the template. I will write it down for you. Okay, so if you are Australia, you have to say the delegate of Australia would like to propose a moderated caucus for 20 minutes with 2 minutes. Okay, wait. With 2 minutes speaking time each to talk about the root causes. Okay, so this is a template. So your country's name first, and then your proposal. Do you want to propose a moderated or unmoderated caucus? And this is for the total minute speaking time. And this is each delegate speaking time to talk about the root causes. Okay, so perhaps I will do a little demonstration on this one. So yeah, Octavina, you want to say something?
One more.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Can you show me the previous slide?
Oh yeah, wait. Okay, this one. Perhaps you can do France. You can do France.
Okay. The delegates of France would like to propose moderate caucus with a 15 minutes total time, 1 minute speaking time each, talking about deforestation.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Octavina. It's perfect. Yes, you have to say it exactly like Octavina. So France, this is the country, and then the caucus. Do you want to propose moderated or unmoderated caucus? And then this is the total time. Perhaps I will change it to total time. And then ST means speaking time. So this is for each delegate. Okay, I'll explain this one. Okay, so for total time, it means that the whole okay, total time means that the whole time for all delegates to speak. Okay, so previously Octavina mentioned 15 minutes total time. Okay, so it will be 15 minutes for all delegates. But what would be the time allocation for each for one delegate? Octavina said that there will be 1 minute speaking time. So country A, country B, country C, country D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Okay, so from A to O, each has 1 minute. Okay, A for 1 minute, B for 1 minute, and the list goes on. The total time is 15 minutes. Okay, there will be no yielding. You cannot yield. So if you cannot finish in 1 minute, the remaining time will be definitely automatically yielded to the chair, meaning that the chair will take over and then the chair will let the next delegate to speak. For example, in the first one, A only speaks for 30 seconds. If it is GSL, you can yield, yeah. But if it is motion time, or we called it the caucus, you cannot yield. So it will go automatically to the next delegate. Okay, so this is how it goes. And then the chair will let B talk for 1 minute, and then C, D until O. Okay, so this is the template. I will send it to the Zoom chat probably if you guys need it. Okay, Delegate of Australia will take to propose a moderated caucus for 20 minutes with 2 minutes speaking time each to talk about the root causes. Okay, I hope you guys understand this. We still have 4 minutes remaining time. We will talk about perhaps your position paper. Uh, I will let anyone who wants to volunteer on this one. If anyone wants to share screen their homework, their one-page position paper homework, feel free to volunteer and share screen your position paper, and we will read it together. Anyone wants to volunteer for the remaining 4 minutes? Okay. Okay.
Uh, I'm sorry because mine hasn't done yet. So
Oh, okay. So, Samantha, it's okay. You can still do it and send it later about the position paper. If anyone wants to volunteer, please tell me. Okay. While we're waiting, I will perhaps share my position paper during my early days in MUN. Okay. While we're waiting. Okay. I will propose to share my position paper during my perhaps my second MUN. Well, no, fourth or fifth. I forgot. Okay, so this is the example. Okay, I haven't shared my screen. Wait. So this is the example of a position paper. This one is 1 page, just like your homework. So for a 1 page homework of your position paper, you have to present it in the most precise way possible. Okay, it has to be simple. It has to be, covering all the aspects of the required parts of a position paper. As you have understood, we already know that in a position paper you have to present your stance first and then the policy afterwards. But that's on the second part of your position paper. This one, I'm representing Pakistan in the issue of terrorism. I have to present and also explain Pakistan's stance on the topic in the second part. On the first part, we will talk for the past actions that the international community has done from the perspective of both Pakistan and also from the international community itself. Okay, so in this case, I am referring to the General Assembly Working Group, in which that to combat terrorism, the General Assembly has established a working group to finalize the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. And I explained that this effort is not maximized in a way to combat terrorism in the most efficient way possible. And then to show that it's actually true, I presented on Pakistan's stance on the topic. Okay. I said that Pakistan is the country in which there are a lot of terrorism activities. But as Pakistan's representative, I want to show to the whole world that there are some actions that Pakistan has actually already done to combat terrorism, and that is our stance is. Okay. And then the third part, as always, we will talk about the proposed solutions. In this case, I talked about two solutions: to harmonize the legislative response in a collective way, and also to have a collective working group approach, or CWGA. If you see at my position paper, it is actually too simple and not pretty much comprehensive enough to cover all of the important aspects. Okay, I will suggest for you to go with the second solution, which is quite, I believe, quite comprehensive, because the first one is already there are only 2 sentences, and I don't think this explains enough about my solution. So don't go with this one, but go with this one instead. Okay, remember that in a solution you have to have a general understanding of the problem. You have to have the steps to combat the problem, to tackle the problem, and then you have to present all the supporting details. Okay, Okay, perhaps I will show you my other position paper that is quite good because I believe this one is not that good. Okay, I will choose my position paper in which that I won best position paper. I think that can be a justification. Okay, this one, I will share screen it again since we only have, okay, it's already 7:20, perhaps 5 more minutes. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is my position paper that consists of two pages. And this is the one in which thank God I won best position paper on this one. So I actually proposed this solution called child touchstone. So it stands for children and youth participation, holistic coordination, imperative legislation delivery, and then also the supporting details of all the solutions. So it's actually quite more comprehensive compared to the previous one. And perhaps the chair sees that this kind of solutions are the ones that they're looking for. Thus, I was awarded with the best position paper honor. But one thing that you should know is that there are every solution is good. Okay, every solution is good, but the chair will look for the best one. Okay, look for the best one, and they will look for the position paper that describes all the necessary details. Okay, so I hope it answers your concerns and also your questions about position paper. And if anyone wants their position paper to be reviewed by me, you can send it personally on WhatsApp chat through my number, and I will give my comments on your position paper, knowing that the time has elapsed for today's session, and we only have one remaining class, which is going to be about draft resolution. So we will talk about that perhaps either tomorrow or Saturday. Okay. So anyone who wants to ask a question, feel free to chat me personally, and we will see you in the fourth class of GMMUN mentorship. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming for today's session, and I hope you guys have a good time, have a good health as well, and see you in the next session. Thank you everyone. See you again.
I'm sorry, sir. Before you end, can I
Thank
ask
you,
a
Miss.
question?
Yeah, sure.
For the position paper,
Yeah.
uh, will there be like any format or like you have to use this kind of fonts or you have to use this kind of line
Oh,
spacing and other like that?
Oh, okay. Okay, you can just send any format because I will be assessing it based on the substance rather than the structure because I believe structures can be learned easily but not substance. So you can send me any format, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. You're welcome, Cindy. Anyone who wants to ask a question, you can ask me personally on chat or on the group. It's okay as well. And we will see you on the fourth session. Okay? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you, Mr.
You're,
Alvin.
you're welcome, everyone.